The massive Imperial warship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. Its dark hull gleamed against the backdrop of stars, stretching over 5 miles long. Behind it, hundreds of smaller ships appeared, their engines glowing like artificial stars. Admiral Davis stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Imperial Might. His great uniform was perfectly pressed, metals shining under the bright bridge lights. He had conquered 32 solar systems in his career. Earth would be 33. "Status report," he ordered, his voice firm and confident. "My lord, we detect primitive satellite technology and basic space stations," reported Lieutenant Brown from his monitoring station. "No significant defense systems. No energy shields. They haven't even colonized their moon properly." Davis smiled. This would be easy, just like all the others. Humans would join the Empire, whether they wanted to or not. "Send the standard greeting," he commanded. "Let them know their new masters have arrived." The message went out, broadcasting on all frequencies in perfect English. The Empire's translation machines have been studying Earth's communications for months. The message was simple: submit or be destroyed. Davis waited for the panic, for the desperate pleas that always came from primitive worlds. He waited for their leaders to beg for mercy. Instead, there was silence. "My lord," Brown's voice shook slightly, "we're detecting energy readings. They're impossible." Suddenly, thousands of points of light appeared around Earth. Hidden stations emerged from perfect cloaking fields. Massive defense platforms appeared in orbit, their weapons already aimed at the Imperial fleet. "Impossible," Davis whispered. "Their technology level. We checked. They barely have spaceflight." A message arrived on all Imperial channels. The voice was calm, almost bored. "This is the Earth Defense Council. You have entered restricted space. Your weapons have been scanned and analyzed. Your shields are inadequate. Your ships are now targeted. You have 1 hour to leave the solar system. This is not a negotiation." Davis laughed. No primitive world had ever dared to speak to the Empire this way. "Show them our power. Target their moon base. Full weapons." The Imperial Might's main gun fired, a beam of energy that could crack planets. The beam vanished 10,000 miles from Earth's moon, absorbed into nothingness. "My lord," Brown's voice was now panicked. "Energy readings off the scale. They're powering up weapons we've never seen before." Small objects appeared near each Imperial ship. They looked like simple metal boxes, no bigger than a car. Each one pulsed with a soft blue light. "Remove those devices immediately," Davis ordered. "We can't, sir. Our systems aren't responding." The ships. They're all locked down. Another message from Earth. "This is your first and final warning. Our defense grid is now active. Your weapons are disabled. Your engines are under our control. You have 55 minutes remaining to leave. After that, we will remove you ourselves." Davis stared at the view screen in shock. Earth's defenses were beyond anything the Empire had ever encountered. Not just advanced, they were generations ahead. And they had remained hidden, letting the Empire think they were helpless. "How?" he demanded. "How did they hide all this?" A third message answered him. "We've been watching you for decades. We saw what you did to other worlds. We prepared. We advanced. We made sure we would be ready. This is not a world you can conquer, Admiral Davis. Earth is off limits to your empire. Leave. Now." For the first time in his career, Admiral Davis felt fear. Real fear. The Empire had never retreated, never backed down. But they had never faced anything like this. "Plot a course out of the system," he ordered quietly. "Send word to Imperial Command. Earth is not what we thought." As the Imperial fleet turned to leave, their ships guided by Earth's defense systems, Davis looked one last time at the blue planet below. They had been so wrong. Earth wasn't primitive. Earth had been preparing. And now the Empire had awakened something they never expected, a world that could say no. The Empire would return, of course. But for now, Earth had done the impossible. They had sent the Empire running. And this was only the beginning. Ambassador Wilson adjusted his black diplomatic robes as his shuttle approached Earth. Unlike Admiral Davis's massive fleet from 2 weeks ago, he came with only 2 small escort ships. The Empire had decided to try a gentler approach. Remember, he told his staff, these humans only appear advanced. Every race has a price. We just need to find theirs. The shuttle passed through Earth's atmosphere, guided by their flight control. Wilson noticed how his ship's systems were completely under Earth's control. It bothered him, but he kept his diplomatic smile fixed firmly in place. They landed at a massive building in a city called Geneva. The structure was simple but impressive, with tall glass windows and clean lines. No guards were visible, but Wilson's sensors detected powerful energy fields everywhere. A man in a plain black suit greeted them. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador. I'm Director Smith of the Earth Defense Council. Please, follow me." Wilson had expected more ceremony. On Imperial worlds, diplomatic meetings involved huge crowds and long speeches. Here, they simply walked into a plain meeting room with a large table and comfortable chairs. "Shall we begin?" Smith asked, sitting down. No bowing, no formal introductions, no protocol. Wilson felt off balance already. Of course, Wilson smiled his famous diplomatic smile. The Empire wishes to express its sincere desire for peaceful relations. We propose. Before you continue, Smith interrupted, pressing a button on the table. There's something you should watch. The air above the table filled with holograms. Wilson saw scenes from dozens of worlds, Imperial conquests. But these weren't the official records. These showed the truth, the brutal subjugation, the destroyed civilizations, the enslaved populations. "How did you get these recordings?" Wilson asked, his smile gone. "We've had stealth probes following your fleets for 30 years, Smith replied calmly. "We know everything. The Empire's peaceful relations always end the same way. Not this time." Wilson tried to regain control of the conversation. The Empire can offer Earth remarkable benefits: technology, trade routes, protection. Smith laughed. It wasn't a friendly sound. Protection. Your ships couldn't even penetrate our outer defense screen. Technology. Let me show you something. New holograms appeared. They showed Earth's scientific achievements, but they were completely different from Imperial science. Where the Empire had gone one way, Earth had gone another. Their technology wasn't just advanced. It was advanced in ways the Empire had never even considered. "We developed in isolation," Smith explained. "No Imperial influence. No standard Imperial patterns. That's why Admiral Davis's ships were helpless. They faced technology they couldn't understand." Wilson played his final card. The Empire will not accept rejection. If diplomacy fails, they will send more ships, bigger fleets, better weapons. Like these. Smith pressed another button. The holograms showed Imperial shipyards, secret bases, fleet movements, all taken by Earth's hidden probes, all showing the Empire's classified military secrets. "We see everything you build," Smith said quietly. "We know everything you plan, and we're ready for all of it." Wilson felt cold sweat on his back. Earth hadn't just prepared defenses. They had infiltrated the Empire's most secure locations. They knew things even he didn't know. "What do you want?" he asked finally. "Simple. The Empire stays out of our solar system. Complete quarantine. No ships, no probes, no contact. Tell your leaders that Earth is forbidden territory." "And if we refuse?" Smith smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. "We've spent 30 years watching the Empire hurt others. We've prepared responses you can't imagine. Don't make us use them." The meeting ended shortly after. As Wilson's shuttle left Earth's atmosphere, he looked down at the seemingly peaceful blue planet below. Its surface showed no signs of the incredible power it held, No hints of the technology that had humbled the Empire twice now. In his official report, Wilson would recommend accepting Earth's terms. The Empire wasn't ready for this fight. Perhaps it never would be. Earth had changed everything. For the first time in Imperial history, they had found a world they couldn't intimidate, couldn't threaten, and couldn't conquer. And Wilson suspected this was just the beginning of Earth's impact on galactic politics. Admiral Davis stood before the Imperial War Council, his face red with anger. 3 months had passed since Earth's insult to the Empire. 3 months of planning, gathering ships, and preparing for revenge. "The attack fleet is ready," he announced to the gathered generals. 5,000 ships. Our newest weapons. Earth will learn what happens when you defy the Empire. The council members nodded in agreement. No one had ever stopped the Empire. Earth would be no different. 2 days later, Davis looked at his massive fleet gathered at the jump point. This time, he would show no mercy. This time, Earth would fall. "All ships, prepare for jump," he ordered. "Operation Earthfall begins now." The fleet jumped into Earth's solar system at different points, using a new plan. Instead of appearing in one group, they surrounded Earth from all directions. No planet could defend against attacks from everywhere at once. "My lord," Lieutenant Brown spoke from his station. "No response from Earth's defenses yet. They seem inactive." Davis smiled. Perhaps their previous show of force had been a trick. Perhaps Earth wasn't so powerful after all. "All ships, begin attack pattern." He never finished the order. Across his fleet, every ship suddenly lost power. They floated in space, dead and silent. "Emergency power," Davis shouted. Nothing happened. A familiar voice came through their speakers. "Admiral Davis, we warned you not to return." The space around Earth rippled. Hidden defense stations appeared everywhere, surrounding the Imperial fleet in a perfect web. But they were different now. Bigger, more powerful. "As you can see," the voice continued, "we've made some improvements since your last visit." Small objects appeared near each Imperial ship, simple metal boxes glowing with blue light. Davis recognized them from his last defeat. But these were different too. They pulsed with red energy now. "Your ships are now under our control," Earth's defender explained. "Your weapons are disabled. Your engines are locked. Your choice is simple: surrender, or we remove your fleet permanently." Davis laughed despite his fear. "Remove us? You can't destroy 5,000 ships. The energy required." A bright light flashed nearby. Where an Imperial destroyer had been, there was nothing. Just empty space. "That was a warning shot," the voice said calmly. "Your ships are targeted. Your crews can surrender and be sent home safely. Or..." Another flash. Another ship gone. "How?" Davis whispered. "How are you doing this?" "We call it the gravity lance," the voice explained. "It creates a temporary micro-black hole. Very efficient at removing unwanted visitors." Davis watched in horror as his mighty fleet floated helpless in space. Earth hadn't just prepared defenses. They had created weapons beyond Imperial science. "All ships," he said quietly, "stand down. Surrender to Earth's forces." The next hour was humiliating. Earth's ships appeared, sleek vessels unlike anything the Empire had, and began transporting Imperial crews to large holding areas. The Imperial ships themselves were caught in some kind of energy field and moved to orbit around Mars. "A collection of samples," the Earth commander explained. "We'll study them, learn from them, make sure any future Imperial visits end just as badly." As Davis waited in the holding area with his crew, he thought about how wrong they had been. Earth hadn't been scared of the Empire. They hadn't been bluffing about their power. They had been toying with the Empire all along. Later, as Earth ships carried the Imperial crews back to their border, Davis looked one last time at the blue planet growing distant behind them. In just 3 encounters, Earth had done more than defeat the Empire's best efforts. They had changed everything. The Empire's reputation for invincibility was broken. Their best ships were now trophies orbiting Mars. Their most powerful weapons had proven useless. And somewhere on that blue planet, humans were probably already preparing for the next Imperial attack. Davis hoped he wouldn't be the one leading it. Some fights, he finally realized, you simply couldn't win. Officer Thomas sat in his small office on the Imperial capital world, surrounded by holographic displays. As the Empire's chief intelligence analyst, he had spent months studying the Earth problem. 3 failed attempts to deal with Earth had left the Empire looking weak. He needed answers. "Computer, show me Earth's technological progress over the last century," he ordered. The displays lit up with images and data. Something wasn't right. Earth's technology had developed too fast, too differently. Normal worlds followed predictable patterns. Earth didn't. Thomas dug deeper into classified files. He found strange reports from 100 years ago, reports that had been hidden away. They described an unknown ship crashing in a place called Nevada. Cross-reference all unusual space activity near Earth before Imperial contact, he commanded. New data appeared, strange energy readings, mysterious signals, and something else, records of an ancient ship, not Imperial, not Earth-made, visiting the planet. Thomas's hands shook as he accessed the deepest Imperial archives. There, buried under layers of secrecy, he found the truth. Long before the Empire, another civilization had ruled the galaxy. They had fallen to a great disaster, but not before leaving warnings. Most worlds ignored these warnings. Earth hadn't. "Display all Earth communications from before Imperial contact," Thomas ordered. He watched in amazement. Earth's leaders had known about the Empire for centuries. The ancient visitors had warned them, shown them what was coming. And Earth had prepared. Everything made sense now. Earth's strange technology, their perfect defenses, their knowledge of Imperial weaknesses, it all came from those early warnings. Thomas found more hidden files. Earth hadn't just prepared defenses. They had built their technology specifically to counter Imperial weapons. Every Imperial advantage had been studied, analyzed, and neutralized before the Empire even found Earth. "Computer, analyze Earth's current technological level compared to Imperial standards." The answer made him sit back in shock. Earth wasn't just ahead of the Empire. They had developed in completely different ways. Imperial science went one direction. Earth went another. That's why Imperial sensors couldn't understand Earth's devices. That's why Imperial shields couldn't stop Earth's weapons. A message alert flashed on his screen. More data from Earth observation posts. Thomas opened it and froze. Earth was building something new. Something big. Orbital platforms were appearing around their planet. But they weren't weapons. They looked like gateway stations. "Computer, predict Earth's next technological advancement." The computer's response was clear. Earth was preparing to bypass Imperial space control. Their new stations would let them reach any point in the galaxy instantly. The Empire's greatest advantage, their control of space lanes, would mean nothing. Thomas thought about the Empire's options. Fighting Earth would be suicide. Their technology was too different, too advanced. Negotiating had failed. Threats had failed. He wrote his report quickly. Earth hadn't just gotten lucky, hadn't just developed good defenses. They had spent centuries preparing specifically to resist the Empire. They knew Imperial tactics, Imperial technology, Imperial weaknesses, all before the Empire even found them. But it was the last part of his report that would shake the Empire most. Earth's new gateway technology would change everything. Other worlds would see that the Empire could be resisted. Earth would be able to protect them. The Empire's days of easy conquest were over. Thomas sent his report to Imperial Command. He knew what would happen next. Some would want to try attacking Earth again. Others would want to find a way to make peace. But he knew the truth now. Earth had never been afraid of the Empire. They had never been surprised by Imperial actions. They had known what was coming for centuries. and they had turned their whole world into a fortress that the Empire couldn't crack. As Thomas looked at the final images from Earth, their new stations growing, their power increasing, he realized something else. Earth wasn't just defending itself. They were getting ready to change the galaxy. The Imperial Palace shook with angry voices. In the Grand Council chamber, two groups of leaders faced each other. After Officer Thomas's report about Earth's true nature, the Empire had split. Commander James stood before the council, his voice firm. "We must accept reality. Earth cannot be conquered. We should make peace while we can." "Traitor!" shouted General White from across the room. "The Empire never surrenders. We should gather every ship we have and crush them." The Emperor watched silently from his throne as his military leaders argued. 3 failed attempts to deal with Earth had already damaged Imperial power. Now this internal fight threatened to tear the Empire apart. "You don't understand," James continued, showing holographic images of Earth's new gateway stations. "They're not just defending themselves anymore. Soon they'll be able to reach any point in Imperial space instantly. Then we strike now." White slammed his fist on the table. "Before they finish building." Officer Thomas stepped forward, his intelligence reports floating in the air around him. "It's already too late. Earth has hidden outposts throughout Imperial space. They've been watching us for centuries. They know all our weaknesses." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some officers drew weapons. Others called for immediate action against Earth. A few quietly supported James's call for peace. "Listen." James's voice cut through the noise. "I've studied every report, every encounter. Earth doesn't want to destroy us. They just want to stop our expansion, stop our conquests. The Empire must grow." White argued. "It is our destiny to rule." "Our destiny." James laughed bitterly. "Look at these reports. Earth knew about us centuries ago. Ancient aliens warned them. While we thought we were surprising each world we found, Earth was preparing. They built their entire civilization just to stop us." The Emperor finally spoke, his quiet voice making everyone freeze. "Show us proof." James activated a large hologram in the center of the room. It showed Earth's technological progress over centuries, their strange development path, their perfect counters to Imperial weapons. "They didn't develop like this by accident," James explained. "Everything they built was designed to fight us. Their shields block our exact weapons. Their sensors see through our exact stealth systems. They've spent generations preparing for us." "Then they are our greatest enemy," White growled. "No," Thomas interrupted. "They're our greatest warning. They show us what we've become, something so terrible that an entire world spent centuries preparing to resist us." The council chamber grew quiet as this truth sank in. The Empire had always seen itself as a force of progress, bringing order to the galaxy. But Earth showed them a different picture. They were the threat that worlds feared. "There's more," James added quietly. "Earth's new gateways aren't weapons. They're protection. They're building them to help other worlds resist us, to stop us from conquering more planets." The Emperor stood slowly. "You suggest we simply accept this. Let Earth challenge our power." "I suggest we change," James replied. "Before Earth forces us to change, they beat our best fleet. They humiliated our best diplomat. They know all our secrets. What do you think happens when other worlds learn that the Empire can be defeated?" The room erupted again in argument. Officers chose sides. Old friends became enemies. The Empire's unity crumbled as they faced the truth about themselves. In the chaos, James watched the latest images from Earth. Their gateway stations grew larger each day. Soon, they would be operational. Soon, everything would change. The Empire had to choose. Adapt to a new galaxy where they weren't all-powerful, or break apart fighting against the inevitable. As James looked around the divided council chamber, he knew the real war wasn't between Earth and the Empire anymore. It was between those who could accept the future and those who couldn't let go of the past. General White stood on his command ship, looking at the largest fleet ever assembled in Imperial history. 10,000 ships filled space around him. Every weapon the Empire had. Every soldier they could spare. "The Empire will not be humiliated again," he announced to his officers. "Earth dies today." Commander James had tried to stop this attack. He and his supporters had warned against it. But General White had convinced the Emperor that one massive strike would end Earth's defiance forever. "All ships report ready," his tactical officer reported. "Jump drives charged." White smiled coldly. "Begin the attack." All ships jump simultaneously. Hit them from every direction with everything we have. The massive fleet vanished into jump points around the Earth system. They appeared seconds later, surrounding Earth completely. There would be no escape this time. "Full attack," White ordered. "Launch every weapon." The space around Earth lit up as thousands of ships fired at once. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and gravity bombs all streaked toward the blue planet. Then everything stopped. Every weapon, every torpedo, every beam of energy froze in space. They hung there, suspended in a web of strange energy that Earth's defense grid had created. "Impossible," White shouted. "Nothing can stop that much firepower." A familiar voice came through their speakers. "We warned you this would happen." Earth's surface began to glow. Massive structures emerged from hidden underground bases. They weren't weapons. They were something much worse. "Gravity control detected," White's science officer screamed. "Energy readings off all charts." The frozen Imperial weapons turned, caught in Earth's gravity fields. They started moving back toward the Imperial ships. "Evasive action," White ordered, but the ships wouldn't move. "Your own weapons are about to hit your ships," Earth's defender explained calmly. "We recommend you evacuate your crews. You have 5 minutes." White watched in horror as artificial gravity wells appeared around his fleet. His ships were being pulled in groups of hundreds into swirling vortexes of energy. "They're creating controlled black holes," his science officer explained, voice shaking. "They're going to trap our entire fleet." "Emergency jump," White ordered. Nothing happened. "Your jump drives are disabled," Earth announced. 4 minutes remaining. Start evacuations now." Across the fleet, escape pods launched as crews abandoned their ships. The massive Imperial vessels were dragged helplessly into Earth's gravity traps. "This is impossible," White whispered. "No one can control gravity like this." But Earth could. Their centuries of preparation had given them power the Empire couldn't understand. Now they were using it. The first group of Imperial ships vanished into a gravity well. They would be trapped in suspended animation, frozen in time until Earth decided to release them. 3 minutes, Earth counted down. Any ship not evacuated will be trapped with its crew inside. White watched his mighty fleet disappear group by group. The greatest armada in Imperial history was being captured like insects in amber. "My lord," his tactical officer called, "Earth's gravity fields are expanding. We'll be pulled in soon." White looked at his bridge crew. "Abandon ship," he ordered quietly. "All hands evacuate." As escape pods launched from his command ship, White stayed on the bridge. He watched Earth's power at work. Their gravity weapons weren't designed to kill. They were designed to capture, to contain, to prevent the Empire from ever threatening them again. 1 minute, Earth announced. "General White, we detect you're still aboard. Last chance to evacuate." White stood straight and proud. "How?" he asked simply. "How did you become so powerful?" "We had good teachers," Earth replied. "The Ancient Ones showed us what the Empire would become. We spent centuries making sure you couldn't hurt us, or anyone else, ever again." As his ship was pulled into the gravity well, White finally understood. Earth hadn't just prepared to defend itself. They had prepared to change the galaxy forever. His last sight before the stasis field took him was Earth's new gateway stations, almost complete. Soon, they would reach out across space, protecting other worlds from the Empire's grasp. The Empire's time of conquest was over. 1 month after Earth's victory, Commander James stood in the grand meeting hall of the Earth Defense Council. Around him, representatives from 100 conquered worlds gathered. They had come through Earth's new gateway network, traveling instantly across the galaxy. The Empire's fleet remains contained, Director Smith announced to the gathered aliens. Their ships and crews are safe in our gravity stasis fields. They will stay there until we're sure they won't threaten anyone again. A tall delegate from a world the Empire had conquered years ago stood up. But what stops them from building new ships? From attacking us again? James stepped forward. I represent those in the Empire who want change. Many of us see now what we truly were, not bringers of order, but conquerors who hurt innocent worlds. The room filled with Earth's latest holographic displays. They showed the gateway stations now operating throughout the galaxy. Beautiful rings of energy that could transport ships instantly between stars. Earth offers you a choice, Smith explained. Join our new alliance. Share our gateway network. Accept our protection. Or remain independent. The choice is yours. And if the Empire attacks again? Another delegate asked. Smith smiled. Show them. The holograms changed. They showed Earth's defense platforms appearing around different worlds. The same technology that had defeated the Empire was spreading. We're sharing our defensive technology with any world that wants it, Smith continued. The Empire's weapons won't work against our shields. Their ships can't fight our gravity controls. Their time of conquest is over. James watched the delegates' faces change from fear to hope. They had lived under Imperial control for so long. Now they were being offered real freedom. But Earth asks nothing in return. A small doubting voice called out. We only ask that you treat other worlds with respect, Smith replied. No conquests, no slavery, no empire building. Help each other grow instead of fighting. The holograms showed more images, Earth's gateway stations letting trade flow freely, their defense platforms protecting peaceful worlds, their gravity technology helping terraform dead planets into new homes. The Empire taught us what happens when power goes unchecked, Smith continued. We spent centuries preparing to stop them. Now we want to help build something better. James stepped forward again. Those of us who left the Empire will help too. We'll teach you about Imperial technology, help you defend against any future threats. The delegates began to talk excitedly among themselves. After generations of Imperial control, real change was coming. More holograms appeared, showing the frozen Imperial fleet orbiting Mars. Earth had captured them all without destroying a single ship, without killing a single person. When will you release them? James asked quietly. When they're ready to join the new galactic community as equals, not conquerors, Smith answered. When they understand that power doesn't give the right to rule others. The meeting continued as more details were discussed. Trade agreements, defense pacts, cultural exchanges. A new galactic civilization was being born. In orbit above them, Earth's gateway stations hummed with energy. Ships from 100 worlds passed through them, carrying people and goods across the galaxy in seconds. The Empire had wanted to rule through force. Earth had shown a better way. Protection, cooperation, and respect for all species. There will be challenges, Smith told the delegates as the meeting ended. Change isn't easy, but together we can build something better than an empire. We can build a true community of worlds. As James watched the delegates leave through the gateways, returning instantly to their home worlds, he thought about how much had changed. The Empire had wanted to conquer Earth. Instead, Earth had transformed the galaxy. Not through conquest, not through force, but by standing firm against tyranny and offering a better path forward. The Earth Defense Council's message still hung in space near the frozen Imperial fleet. Entry forbidden. But now it meant something more. It meant the old ways of conquest and empire were forbidden. A new age had begun.